Hello, welcome to Kevlar's Quest, the Modern Life podcast. I'm Kevin Ejizie. Today's quest is hypergamy and the hidden cost of dating up. Hypergamy and the hidden cost of dating up. Let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, and that is one of the consequences of female hypergamy. Hypergamy is just a fancy word for the tendency women have to date or marry up, choosing men who are taller, stronger, older, more successful, or higher status. In short, women often look for men who can improve their quality of life. Think of it like this. Women treat men the way men treat jobs. They want the best offer available. Men, on the other hand, usually have to accept some kind of loss in the deal. If you are a man who wants a woman in your life, you are going to pay in some way. And it's not always money. Though money is actually one of the cheapest ways to make that transaction. That's the basic economics of it. Women date for gain. Men date for acceptable loss. And honestly, women don't usually get upset when you point this out. They think I'm young, I'm attractive, and this won't last forever. Why shouldn't I get as much as I can while I can? And you know what? That's rational. If I were a woman, I might do the same thing. But here's the flip side that often gets overlooked. In every culture throughout history, it's the servant who gets paid. If resources are flowing from men to women, then historically, women have served men in return. That's not just about the patriarchy, it's about economics. If you are being compensated, you are not the boss, you are the employee. This is where things get uncomfortable. Women like the idea of gain, but they don't always like the idea of service. Yet historically, that service is what balanced the scales. It's not what made the exchange fair. Modern women, however, often resist that role while still dating hypergamously. They still want the paycheck, but they don't want the responsibilities that used to come with it. And that's why many modern relationships feel lopsided. If a man is giving resources and only getting sexual access in return, that arrangement starts to look less like a partnership and more like a transaction. Historically, women balance this by offering other forms of service like support, care, contribution. Without that, the deal feels unfair. Early feminists understood this dynamic. A lady called Virginia Woolf famously said that women needed money and a room for their own to be self-determined. That is, she was trying to explain that women needed money and a room for their own to be self-determined. She was right. Without financial independence, women would always be stuck in the servant role, and feminism worked hard to change that. Today, women have their own money, their own careers, their own homes, yet many still date hypergamously, which means the flow of resources still moves from men to women. And there's nothing that men are being compensated for. Or even if they are being compensated, they are compensated very little. Here's the problem. You can't be both the boss and the one collecting the paycheck. It doesn't work. That's why so many men today feel dissatisfied with relationships. They say the juice isn't worth the squeeze. They feel like they are paying more than they are getting back. The only way out of this imbalance is for women to either stop dating hypergamously or to provide a service of comparable value to balance the exchange. But that's hard for two reasons. First, hypergamy runs deep. It's like rooted in biology. Many people do not know that hypergamy is rooted in biology. In fact, I don't blame women to be hypergamous. That is the way they are built, emotionally and physically. And you can't just erase it with cultural ideals. Second, men and women's status changes differently over time. Men's status often rises with age, while women's status tends to decline. So what feels like a fair trade at 30 feel fair at 50. Now, so many people may want to counter me on what I just said now. Why do I say that men's status rises with age? It's because men age like fine wine. As men get older, that is when they start building themselves, having more money, looking more palatable and nice to women. Why is that? Because that's when they start growing. There's what they call sexual market value. As men grow with age, their sexual market value increases. Now, what is sexual market value? Sexual market value is your attractiveness in the relationship market. Like when a 18-year-old boy is growing, he tries to get a girlfriend. He can't get because at that age, he doesn't have much money. But but for women, that is the age that they become very beautiful. Every man wants them. So usually, the sexual market value of women are usually very high, especially in their teens and in their 20s. But that of men is low. But when women start becoming older, their sexual market value falls, while that of men rises. That's the hidden cost of dating up. It's not just about attraction or opportunity. It's about economics, balance, and fairness. And unless both sides recognize the trade, relationships will keep feeling uneven. Okay, that's our quest for today. Please subscribe, like, and share. Someone out there needs to hear this message I just said just now. Maybe someone like you. Let's spread strength and clarity to those navigating this journey. We'll talk more in future episodes. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for listening and take care.